Good morning, beautiful souls. Good morning. It is 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday, November 30th. Welcome to Tuned In. I am your host, Linda Krause Barnett. I am the founder and CEO of Compass Productions, and I am also the author of Reboot Your Life, Bring Back Your Spark. And today I am going to talk about the power of words, right? Because my entire life I have been infatuated by words. I have wanted to be an author since ever I can remember, since I was like teeny tiny. So writing a book is one of the great accomplishments of my life. But it didn't satiate my hunger for words, right? I am still a muse of the word. I am still a student of wordsmithing, and I do believe more and more and more and more as I read and as I learn and as I consume information that I'm attracted to, that words are the tuning fork, right? We hear frequency, vibration. We hear it now more than ever, how we're all energetic beings and we're just kind of vibrating on this vibrating planet that is spinning through space. And what is it all for? And how do we connect to that vibration? How do we tune our vibration? How do we connect our movement with the movement of the universe, with the movement of our goals and our dreams and our aspirations? And words are the tuning fork of life, right? They are what align. And it doesn't have to be a verbal word. It could be we think in words. We don't just speak in words. So even as we think, we are experiencing the magical power of words. And that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. And not only am I going to share with you some stories today, but I'm going to read you from a book called Wisdom Codes by Braden. And if you don't know who he is, just type his name into YouTube. He's a genius, and he studies all kinds of he studies the past in order to kind of help us learn how it can be a tool for our present. And so this wisdom code says ancient words to rewire our brains and heal our hearts. Okay. So he is making the biological connection, research based biological connection of the power that our words have on our biology, the power that our words have on our creation, and our connection to source or to God, whatever word you deem appropriate for your beliefs. That was a lot. Okay, so that is what I want to talk to you about today. And I have always been fascinated by the fact that, like, if you take the English language, for example, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, I think. There's minimal, right? There's under 30 letters in the alphabet. And then I want you to walk into like a Barnes and Noble. Just one Barnes and Noble, let alone all of the bookstores spanning the globe. But go into one bookstore and look at the abundance of books on the shelves, right? There are thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people who author books, and yet no two people have accidentally ever written the identical book. So we take those words, or we take those minimal amount of letters, those 26 little letters, and we pattern them and configure them in such a way that we create words that hold a vibrational frequency. And that is powerful shit, my friends, right? And so if I take the letters, for example, SACRED, right? So SACRED, 6 letters. And I take those 6 letters, I can make many, many words from them. But 2 of the words that I can make from those 6 letters are scared or sacred. I can make either one of those words with those 6 letters. And let me just tell you that the vibrational frequency, my biology, my tuning fork is very, very different when I say the word scared versus when I say the word sacred. And so, yes, we need to be mindful of the patterns of our letters, the configurations of our letters in terms of what words are we creating, what vibrational frequency do they hold, and how does that emission affect my reality? Okay, and that's kind of what this book is all about. So again, if you're here, let me know you're here. Say hello. Good morning, Becky Moore. Good morning. Good morning. This book is amazing and I'm obsessed. I'm going to actually each day share a little bit with you because he goes through some of these word codes. Like the first word code is protection, which is so appropriate. But initially for the beginning of the book, I just want to tune into this magic wand that lives within us, right? So my ability to take 6 letters and either consistently use those 6 letters to say, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. This scares me. This is my cells feel scared, versus those same letters to say, my cells are sacred. My thoughts are sacred. My trust is sacred. My love is sacred. My vibration is sacred. There is an entirely different flow in my system, in my biology, in my being, in my human, and my God when I use those 2 words, even though they are made up of the same exact letters. And that is just testimony to me of the mindfulness required in your language in order to have an effect on the reality that you experience each and every day. So I highlighted some nuggets because today is teaching time, right? Sometimes I just come on with good stories, and I do have a good story today, but it's not my own story. It's the story about language. And so how he kind of came to this realization is he studied the North American Hopi tribe, and it said speakers of this language describe the events of everyday life without using or even referencing the experience of time. Their entire language is absent of referring to or using any words associated with time. So their entire language is present. There's no past or future verbs of their language. Their language is absent of the experience of time. Okay? It's also why there are some indigenous tribes of Alaska who have like 32 different words for snow, because to them, all snow is not created equal, especially when their whole livelihood depends on it. There's texture, there's color, there's viscosity. So they need more words in order to enhance the experience that is around them. Hopi language uses words that describe the present moment and what's happening in the moment, with no words to directly describe the past or future. And I just want you to imagine having grown up in using a language that does not refer to past or future and what that must be like. And when you think of that, do you get a feeling of restriction? Do you get anxious, or do you feel expansive and open? Because kind of for me, I get this like freedom, this release, right? Because in my life, in my daily experience, and I don't like to admit this, but the truth is I'm usually in the past or in the future. And it takes such conscious work to be now, in the now. Words influence the way our neurons connect, a discovery that shattered scientific beliefs and remains controversial as well as acclaimed today. Words influence the way our neurons connect. Now we're back to biology. We're not just woo-woo. Words are magic wands. Yes, they are. Why? Because they literally are created in order to have a biological effect on you so that you will use them, so that you will embrace them, so that you will be conscious of them. Okay? It appears that the language we use, the words we choose to describe ourselves and to share our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs, actually form the framework for the unity or separation that we experience when we think and solve the problems of everyday life. Your words are creating your perspective. They are affirming your beliefs. And so if you want to change a belief and rewire your neurons, you have to start with changing the language of the thought, which will then change the language of your expressive words, right? Expressive meaning the output of words, which is then that wave that you're putting out there. These are not my studies, right? He's famous for this. I think he's got a PhD. It says five-time New York Times bestselling author, scientist, and lecturer that is internationally renowned as a pioneer bridging modern science, ancient wisdom, and human potential. Freaking genius. In other words, genius, right? But listen, he's teaching us how to bridge, how to understand that your brain is neurons, they're connections in the brain. And if this wiring is here and you want to like hot wire your brain, basically take off right in the moment, you have to put the wires somewhere else. Well, how do you do that? Well, he's saying that our words are, or even just the thought of the words, because we hear words in our mind, is a mechanism, a tool in which to take those wires and put them into a different connection, right? It's like hot wiring. We are broken down. Our car doesn't want to start. We can't get to where we want to go. So we have to hot wire our car. We have to move the connections so that we can rev up and get going. And I hope that this is making sense. Please let me know if you're here. If you watch on replay, let me know that that you're here on replay, #replay, and let me know how this is resonating with you. Let me know how you feel about the power of the words that you use, okay? And this is why I'm so obsessed with meaning, because sometimes we use a word and we're using it out of context for the intention that we hold. Right? Sometimes when we use the word power, we're saying we want to be better than someone else. We're saying we want people to follow us. We're saying we want to be in control. And sometimes when we say power, we're talking about how God made us in his image. We're talking about internal strength. We're talking about resilience and tenacity. So using the word power isn't enough. You have to understand the meaning and intention and wiring that you're trying to gain from the word that you use. How do I want to use this word in order to activate it in a proper way for my life, for my well-being? Because as soon as I give my feeling to this word, I've activated it. There was something so incredibly cool, and I will share that with you. He goes to a monastery, I think it is, right? Up high in the mountains. And if I can find it, it's really so powerful. Stay with me here, guys. Okay, this is it. So they do this journey where they spend 14 days acclimating to this monastery. They have to get to this monastery, and it's 16,000 feet above sea level, right? So for 14 days, we acclimated our bodies to the altitude of over 16,000 feet above sea level. We had crossed an icy river in hand-hewn wooden barges and driven for hours with eyes peering at one another over the tops of the surgical masks that shielded us from the dust cloud that floated through the floorboard of our vintage Chinese bus. Holding onto the seats around us and even onto one another, we had braced ourselves and been jarred from the inside out as we crossed washed away bridges and roadless desert just to be in this very place. But the beauty of the destination was well worth the price of the bumps and the dust. If that's not a metaphor for life, then I don't know what is. If the monasteries were easy to get to, thousands of people would have made the journey throughout the ages, and the wisdom preserved in these timeless shrines likely would have been lost to progress. But on this day, I found myself sitting with my group on the cold stone floor of the windowless chapel, waiting for our first meeting with the elder of this ancient temple. I focused my attention directly into the eyes of this beautiful and ageless-looking man, draped in maroon robes, seated lotus style directly in front of me. He was the abbot of the monastery. Through our translator, I had just asked him the same question that I had asked each monk and nun that we met throughout our pilgrimage. My question was this: when we see your prayers, what are you doing in your body? So he said to this monk, when I see your prayers, what is it that's happening inside of your body? When we see your tone and chant mantras for 14 to 16 hours a day on the outside, what is it that's happening to you on the inside? Smart question to ask, right? As the translator shared the abbot's reply, a powerful sensation rippled through my body, and I knew this was the reason I had come to this place. You have never seen our prayers, he answered, because a prayer cannot be seen. A prayer cannot be seen. Adjusting the heavy wool robes beneath his feet, the abbot then continued speaking. What you have seen is what we do to create the feeling in our bodies. The feeling is the prayer, and the words create the feeling. Okay? And I really want this to sink in. If I leave you with anything today, I want to leave you with that. You have never seen our prayers because a prayer cannot be seen. What you have seen is what we do to create the feelings in our bodies. So when you pray, when you read sacred text, right? Those words, those are meant to create the feeling. And then the feeling that you get because of the words, that's the prayer. The prayer is the resulting feeling that the words give you. That's the power. That's the tuning fork. That's this thing everybody says, manifest, manifest. Let's manifest $1 million. Let's manifest our love life. Let's manifest our dream significant other. And everybody's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Right? Like there's some red pill from the Matrix that we're all waiting on. And here's the thing. Are we in tune to the emotional effect our words cause? And is it the emotion we want to attach to? That's why prayer is powerful, because those specific words in that specific order are wisdom codes. They're divine codes. They are meant to activate a faith and a trust and a belief and a bliss within you that rewires your neurons, that changes your biology, that allows you to feel joy and abundance and trust and beauty. And that's the prayer, that feeling. That's God speaking through us, to us, for us, with us. And that's just so powerful. You know, it's not enough to say, I'm in the moment, I'm mindful. It's not enough to say, I'm going to use positive affirmations today. I'm going to use positive words today. It's not enough if we don't take it that extra step and get into the flow of the emotions. What emotions do you feel when you say the word sacred? What emotions do you feel when you say the word scared? And do you understand that they are built from the same blocks of letters? And why would 6 letters give a totally different emotional reaction within your body? Why would 6 of the same letters cause your brain to feel, your heart, your body to feel so different? It's because in one pattern, it's a high vibration, and in another pattern, it's a low vibration. Holy shit cakes. Are you with me? Does this make sense? If you have to listen to this multiple times, do it. But I'm telling you, there's real help in here. There's real, and it doesn't come from me. It comes from this book. It comes from what I'm feeling to share with you in the moment, which is God channeling through me. right? Sometimes I'm the right person to give you a message and sometimes I'm not. But if you're here and listening to me today, you needed something I have to say. That's just the way the world works. And it's not because I'm special, although we all are special. It's because this moment was created in order for these words to come out in this way to create an emotional resonance within you that pivots, that shifts, that activates something today. So he has a little prayer. I just want to leave you with this little prayer. It's Psalm 91, and it talks about how each and every word in this particular scripture is an activation. And we'll get more into that tomorrow. But it says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, and in Him will I trust." What is your activation language? What is your love language? What is your faith language? What is your dream language, your intentional language, right? What words do you use when you speak of your children or your spouse or yourself or your belief or your environment or your job? What words are you using? Do you speak of your job and use the words like exhausted, drained, frustrated, resentful, pissed off, shit? I don't know. Or do you think of yourself as a vessel, as a channel, as a guide, as an activator, as love, as essence, as purity? What comes up for you when you say these words, and what words do you use for describing and connecting and creating emotions in sacred areas of your life? And so I want to leave you with a transformational task today. And what I want you to do is I want you to kind of categorize, talk about your love life. Have a page in your journal where you talk about your love life. And either in the moment or as you go throughout your day, when you're talking about a lover or a spouse, right, what words am I using? What words am I thinking? And you include the words you think, not just the words you speak. When I talk about my children, when I talk about myself, when I talk about my home, when I talk about nature, when I talk about my job, what are the words in my thoughts? What are the words coming out of my mouth? And don't judge yourself for it. Be kind, be gracious, because guess what? The whole point of this is that we have an opportunity to rewire our brains and heal our heart. He doesn't say you're stuck in, oh, great, I'm here. This book is just to tell you how screwed you are. The book is to tell you that we have the capacity, the ability, if we so desire, to rewire our brain and to use words as a tool, as a vehicle, as a mechanism in order to do that. My hope and wish is that this message landed in your heart today. It landed in your soul, right? The place that I am always trying to connect with is your soul. I am always coming from the deepest parts of my soul in order to connect with yours. That is my superpower, right? Soul to soul connection. I want to see through your physical. I want to see through all the layers of what can be seen into the invisible magic parts of you. That is what I wish. That is what I desire, is to show you my invisible parts and to see your invisible parts, because I think those are the most beautiful parts of who we are, is what we cannot see and what isn't in this physical presence. And so I hope that this resonated. Share the message out if you feel like it did. Share it with someone who you feel could use these words today. And don't forget to tune in to me again tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to tune into the power of your words today and be real clear on the emotions that they evoke for you. I love you all with heart and soul, and I will tune into you tomorrow. Talk